On News Hour tonight, President Tinubu swears in new Defense Minister, General Christopher Musa. Victims of Tinubu tragedy still await compensation 2 years after the incident. Nigerians express mixed views on cowhide meat consumption amid health risks and economic concerns. And away from Nigeria, Libya intensifies deportation of migrants from sub-Saharan Africa. Hello and welcome to the News Hour on Trust TV. I am Idris Baturi. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has sworn in General Christopher Musa retired as Nigeria's new Minister of Defense. The ceremony took place at the State House in Abuja following his confirmation by the Senate after a rigorous 5-hour screening. General Musa, a former Chief of Defense Staff, is expected to bring decades of military experience to the ministry, with a clear focus on strengthening national security and stabilizing the country. His nomination was forwarded to the Senate on Tuesday and confirmed on Wednesday. He replaces Muhammad Badr Abubakar, who stepped down from the position due to health reasons. Speaking after his inauguration, the new defense minister vowed to intensify the fight against insecurity across the country. He stressed the need for stronger collaboration among the military, security agencies, and citizens.
My immediate priority is to make sure that defense takes its place fully in the country. The synergy between the armed forces, and other security agencies, and all Nigerians being carried along, as we have always said, that security is everybody's responsibility. It is that synergy that we need to build on and work on it, and that's what we're going to. And I can assure you, within the shortest possible time, Nigerians will see results. I want to use this medium to appreciate all Nigerians. Nigerians have shown me love, and I will guarantee them that I am going to work whatever it takes to ensure that Nigeria is secured, working together. Yes, I just met Mr. President, and he reiterated his mind on the aspect that we must make sure that Nigeria is secured. Nigerians should go back and sleep with their eyes closed, go back to their farms, schools open without being molested, everyone being carried together to make sure that Nigeria continues to grow in line with the renewed program of the Mr. President.
President Bola Tinubu has forwarded 65 ambassadorial nominees to the Senate for confirmation, comprising 34 career ambassadors and 31 non-career ambassadors and high commissioners. The letter conveying the request was read on the Senate floor by Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Among the non-career nominees are notable political figures such as former INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu, former Aviation Minister Femi Fani-Kayode, ex-Abia State Governor Okezi Ikpezu, and former presidential aide Reno Omokri. Other prominent names include Senator Ita Enang, former Enugu State Governor Ifeanyi Ugwanyi, Chioma Ohakim, Bello Dembazo, retired Vice Admiral Ibok Ete, and Senator Jimo Ibrahim. The list have been referred to the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, which is tasked with conducting screening and reporting back within 1 week. With this submission, the total number of ambassadorial candidates before the Senate now stands at 68, following the earlier screening of Kayode Are, Aminu Alhatu, and Ayodele Oki.
For Cross River State, it's a known name. We have Vice Admiral Ibas Iboite. I'm sure this is the immediate past administrator of Rivers. For Delta State, we have Mr. Reno Omokri. For Edo State, we have Honorable Engineer Abasi Brahima, FMHR. That must be former member of the House of Representatives. You know him? He's a landlord. For Ekiti State, we have Mrs. Erelu Angela Adebayo. Mrs. For Enugu State, we have Right Honorable Ogwanyi Ifeanyi. Ogwanyi, that must be the former governor, right? For Imo State, we have Barrister Mrs. Chioma Ohakim. For Kano State, we have Lieutenant General Abdul Rahman Bello Dambazao.
The House of Representatives has again postponed debate on the 45 bills seeking to amend Nigeria's 1999 constitution, citing the need for more time to study the proposals. But what doubt was not only the part of packed legislative session, as lawmakers also pushed for urgent action on security funding, education reforms, and stalled infrastructure projects. The reports.
The day's deliberations opened with a strong appeal to the federal government, this time on police logistics. The House called for the immediate fast-tracking of all pending procurements under the Nigerian Police Trust Fund. Representative Victor Obuza moved the motion for urgent public importance, warning that despite improved funding for the trust fund, which is now 1% of the Federation accounts, critical police equipment remain trapped in bureaucratic bottlenecks.
The House is concerned that the red tape delays and bureaucratic bottlenecks in the procurement and distribution process of essential equipment, vehicles, protective gear, communication and surveillance tools, as well as logistic support.
He stressed that worsening terrorism, banditry, kidnappings, and one-chance attacks demand the rapid release of vehicles, communication gadgets, protective gears, and other essentials. Education came to the fore next, as the House urged the Federal Ministry of Education to rescind its recent curriculum changes on the WAEC portal. In another motion of urgent public importance, Honorable Oboku Ofoji said subjects such as computer studies, data processing, electrical installation, photography, and civic education are too critical to be removed, especially with WASC just 4 months away.
Mr. Speaker, the House is worried that removal of the 3 or more foundational subjects from the mandatory 8 subject limit the student and violate the minimum requirement for the examination, which is 8. They will now be left with 5 subjects. Also worried.
He warned that thousands of SS3 students cannot replace subjects they have studied since SS1 simply to meet WAEC's requirements. The House then turned to infrastructure concerns, focusing on the increasing accidents along the abandoned Abakaliki-Ikwo Oforekpe-Obubra Road. Honorable Chinedu Oga urged the House to investigate why the project has stalled since it was taken over from the Ebonyi State government by federal authorities.
Disturbed that the contractor stalled and held the Abakaliki-Ikwo Oforekpe Road and Obubra Road has led to loss of life. Over 25 lives have been lost in that road due to the excavation of the road. Also disturbed that the traceable state of this road has become distressed, insecurity and economic decline, to mention but few.
As part of the day's business, lawmakers also resolved to probe the Ministry of Solid Minerals over the revocation of more than 4,000 mining licenses in just 2 years.
Further aware that these revocations have generated widespread concern among operators, host communities, investors, and industry stakeholders regarding due process, transparency, compliance with statutory procedures, and the economic implication of such an unprecedented scale of license cancellations.
Meanwhile, a motion seeking to convert COVID-19 intervention loans to grants for small and medium enterprises was stepped down for further consultation. The day ended with yet another procedural shift. Debate on 45 constitutional amendment bills has been postponed until next week. Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu had presented the report earlier in the week, but some lawmakers complained they had not received copies and needed more time to review.
I want to urge that we suspend discussing this document for now until next week, so that our colleague will have enough time to study, to read, so that we can come from the well-informed position as regards to this document.
And so if we don't have enough copies with members, I will plead, sir, very sincerely I will plead, that members be given time to look at this amendment, which is a constitutional amendment, not just a statutory amendment, so that when we come back, we will be very ready to fly, sir.
But I want to advise that whatever is worth doing is worth doing well. And when you want to do it well, they also say, why do you have to leave what you can do today until tomorrow? If you have enough of these coffees here, Mr. Speaker, order the clerk. The clerk order your sergeant at arms and every other personnel here. Bring them here. I believe we have abundant of these documents here.
We have come to a critical stage, and postponing the starting of this process is losing more days. If we start today, if it is only 10 members that can contribute today, we continue on Tuesday. You know, you have already taken 10 out of 360 contributions, probably. But if we lose today again, we have lost the whole week.
Because the decision of the House is the decision of the chair. And what we don't start now, and we'll start it next week, I don't think we have lost so much. The most important thing is that the committee has met the target of finishing their work first week of December and have led the report.
With the House divided, the Deputy Speaker aligned with members seeking more time and then postponed the bill. Debate on the constitutional alteration bills is expected to resume next week.
Now, 2 Chinese nationals have been kidnapped at a Bua Road construction site in Kwara State. The victims were working on the Bodi Sadu Kayama Kosobos Road project when masked gunmen forcefully abducted them on December 1, 2025. Earlier, tension gripped Patigi and surrounding communities following another daring attack by armed terrorists in Lata community, Patigi local government area, where 6 beans farmers were abducted while working on their farms. Eyewitnesses described the raid as swift and highly coordinated. President also reported a separate incident when bandits stormed a farm, chased away laborers, and seized a 7-month-old Haju motorcycle belonging to a local businessman. The escalating violence has deepened fear across Kwara, South and North, with communities saying terrorists now operate with impunity. Many residents are reportedly fleeing their homes due to constant kidnappings and threats. The latest abduction comes just days after another violent incident in Eruku, Ekiti local government area, where armed bandits abducted a farmer, Mr. Asaru, last Sunday. Now, troops of Headquarters 6 Brigade Nigerian Army Sector 3 Operation Wild Stroke have intensified their ongoing offensive in Taraba State, achieving major breakthroughs that include the destruction of bandit camps, neutralization of armed elements, recovery of weapons, and the arrest of a key suspect. On 2 December 2025, soldiers launched a deliberate clearance operation under Operation Zafunguta across Shid, Agia, and Tiaozua communities in Takum local government area. Following credible intelligence on the presence of armed groups in the Toata axis, as troops advanced into the mountainous hideout, the criminals fled deeper into the terrain, abandoning their camps. The soldiers conducted a thorough search and destroyed the camps, which the bandits had previously boasted were inaccessible to security forces. In Tiaozua, the fleeing bandits set a wooden bridge on fire in a failed attempt to slow troops' movement. Despite the obstruction, the troops pressed on and forced the criminals across the power line route into neighboring Benue State. One suspect, Dahiru Megari, was arrested and is currently undergoing investigation. Now, police in Sokoto State have arrested 3 suspected financiers and informants for bandit gangs, including Ruaginyo, the head of Gidan Mari in Tangaza local government area. The suspect, reportedly acting as brokers for the Laukurao bandits, were apprehended on 3 December 2025 at around 2 p.m. while attempting to sell 4 Russell cows to unsuspecting buyers. Investigations revealed that the suspect facilitated the sale of stolen cattle and remitted the proceeds to the bandits. All have confessed to their involvement, and authorities are continuing efforts to trace further links and recover additional stolen property. 5 students of Rivers State University Nkpolu Ororoko, Port Harcourt, who were abducted from the institution's satellite campus in Omuaha local government area on Tuesday, have regained their freedom. The incident had triggered panic among students, leading to a protest during which they demanded immediate relocation to the main campus for safety. Addressing the aggrieved student on Tuesday, the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Isaac Zeb Obipi, announced the temporary shutdown of academic activities at the Omuaha campus and directed all students residing there to vacate the area until further notice. Confirming the rescue on Thursday, the spokesperson for the Rivers State Police Command, Grace Iringi Koko, said all 5 abducted students were rescued and hurt during an operation carried out at Rumudogo 2 by police tactical teams in collaboration with other security agencies. She said the victims, including 1 female, have been taken to the hospital for medical examination, adding that efforts are underway to apprehend the fleeing kidnappers. Now, armed bandits on Wednesday evening launched a coordinated attack on Garfulani, a settlement in Iyemero Ikole local government area of Ekiti State, carting away valuables and abducting several residents. The attackers, who struck between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m., reportedly invaded homes and forcefully collected mobile phones, ATM cards, cash, clothing, shoes, bags, jewelry, and wristwatches. Their escape, however, was thwarted by members of the Iyemero Community Security Network, who quickly alerted troops stationed nearby. The soldiers immediately mobilized to the area, confronting the bandits in a fierce gun duel that lasted several minutes. The sustained resistance from the joint security teams forced the attackers to abandon their captives and flee into the forest. The community, which shares borders with Eruku in Kwara State and Egbe in Yagba West, Kogi State, has long been vulnerable due to the extensive forest corridors often exploited by criminal groups. Security operatives have since intensified patrols across the area to prevent further attacks. 2 years after the Tinubu drone strike that killed dozens during a Maulud celebration, victims of the incident said they are still devastated and battling with the painful memories of the tragedy. Although some government promises have been fulfilled, the victims insist they are yet to receive compensation for the loved ones they lost in December 2023 incident. Trustee Bello Musa, who visited the community located in Igabi local government area of Kaduna State, report that residents are enjoying a more peaceful atmosphere despite living with the trauma of the past.
The drone strike killed children and adults, men and women, plunging Tinubu into deep grief and long-lasting trauma. Hashim Abdullahi, who lost his wife and children in the incident, said he is still struggling with the emotional burden of the experience.
Akwai Amina, akwai Farida, akwai Halilu, sai uwansu Maryama.
I lost my children, Amina, Farida, and Halima, and my wife, Maryam. When I arrived at the scene, I could hardly recognize them. I only recognized my wife by the wrapper I had bought for her to celebrate it, but she was already dead. I managed to save her 8-month-old child, who is now my only son.
Lokacin da bam din ne tashi yana da wata 8 da haihuwa. Yanzu ma uwar goyen shi hatta yaye shi.
Abdullahi Musa, the deputy chief imam of the Tinubu Mosque, was among those injured during the attack. Though he describes the incident as the will of God, he admits that overcoming the trauma has not been easy. I still struggle with the trauma of seeing small children die before my eyes. I could do nothing but watch. It was the will of God. After the tragic event, both the federal and state governments promised to build houses and provide other basic amenities for the community. Residents say Tudumbiri now wears a new look 2 years after the incident that claimed many lives. We thank God that the government has fulfilled most of its promises, including the 6-kilometer road, skill acquisition center, hospital, and housing projects.
Sai alkawari na gaba suka ce za su yi mana gine-ginen gidaje. A zamantakewa mu da haɗin kanmu wanda gwamnati ta duba.
We now live in peace in this community, and the government has attested to that. Both the state and federal governments have done their best. Unlike before, the residents of Tudumbiri can now access other communities in the metropolis with their farm produce and for other activities. However, despite the development brought to the area, residents say they are still waiting for compensation for the people who died during the incident. The government has delivered 3 out of the 4 promises, but the families of the victims have not yet received compensation. 81 people died during the incident, while 71 people, including myself, were injured and hospitalized. We are appealing to the government to pay the compensation. Residents say that although life in Tudumbiri has improved and they can move on freely, they continue to live with the trauma of losing their loved ones in the tragedy. Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
Still on the Tudumbiri tragedy, the Nigerian Army has assured families affected by the tragedy that they will receive compensation as part of measures to address civilian casualties arising from military operations. The tragic airstrike on December 3, 2023 in Kaduna State claimed 85 lives and left dozens injured when a drone targeting suspected terrorists mistakenly hit Muslim worshippers during Maulud celebrations in Tudumbiri, Igabi local government area. This incident was followed by another unintended strike on December 25, 2024 in Sokoto State when an army drone targeting the terrorist group Laukurawa killed at least 10 civilians in the villages of Gideon Sama and Rumtua. Both events sparked nationwide griefs and heightened concerns over the safety of counter-terrorism air operations near civilian populations. Speaking at a media briefing in Abuja, Director of Defense Media Operations Major General Michael Onoja acknowledged the painful losses, reaffirmed the military's commitment to preventing similar incidents.
The issue of compensation for them has been discussed extensively, and you know that these things take time. It's a bureaucracy we are running. But I can assure you that in due course, compensation will be paid to that community in as much as due diligence has been done on the level of compensation and those who are affected by that incident. Abuja has a robust security architecture with all the headquarters of all the security agencies being located in Abuja. We also have a very extensive operational network of security agents operating in Abuja. So while those boys remain at the outskirts, I want to assure you and the public that I'm sure they will not be able to threaten us in Abuja.
All right, now joining us via phone is El Zubair Abubakar, Kaduna-based legal practitioner, to discuss more on the Tudumbiri incident. Thank you for joining, Barrister.
It's a great pleasure for me. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, now, Barrister, what is the legal status of promises made by the government to the Tudumbiri community? Are they binding and can they be enforced in courts if unfulfilled?
Those promises are promises that were made by the government at the time when the Nigerian Air Force dropped a bomb on worshippers while they were worshiping in the evening. Unfortunately, instead of first talking about the lives of those who are lost, and then for the Air Force to take responsibility, and then identify those officers that might have caused the mayhem, and then profile and try them. And if they were found wanting in the nature of their job, or there was some pollution, so that they can be punished openly, so Nigerians can see them. But you know, that was not the first time that such bombs were dropped by the Air Force. They only apologized, and nothing happens to those officers that have done it. In fact, the entire Air Force and the Nigerian Air Force have never even come out to apologize to Nigerians for the many infractions that had happened. So after that, government, state government, federal government made promises to these people. Some of them promised that they were going to give them compensation, which compensation did not come.
All right, Barrister. Barrister. Yes. Now, what is the what are the legal binding of these promises? Are they still binding? Should the government or the army refuse to fulfill these promises? Are they binding? Is there any way these communities can take these issues further?
They are not binding. The reason is because the right thing was not initially done. What the Tudunbiri community ought to have done was to go to court and press for the violation of their rights, because it was deliberate and the federal government didn't give a convincing excuse. So all that the political ruling elites did was for each of them to come into Kaduna State, make promises, and then go back. Such promises are not binding. But you see, this happens only in Nigeria. In a country where there is a good government, where there is a serious government, and where the political ruling class has the interest of its citizens at heart, you don't even need to press for these promises. The government will have taken responsibility, compensation will have been paid, those who have died will have been identified, and their families will have been compensated. And the federal government will have come out to clearly make a statement that this is the reason why that infraction was made, and take a stand that it will not repeat itself again. All right, but now you see, Nigeria is not like that.
All right, Barrister, can we say now that the community is now too late for them to take any legal action against the military or the government?
No, it's not late. But whether they can be able to do that I think it is another issue. The reason is because when that infraction happened, there was an independent group of lawyers who wanted to take up the matter on behalf of the Tudunbiri community. In fact, I remember that they wanted to do it free for the people of Tudunbiri. The reason being that that was not the first time that the Nigerian Air Force had caused this kind of mayhem. And there has been no cogent explanation for the earlier infractions that were caused, even that of the Tudunbiri. But the community was lured by the Kaduna State government into openly disagreeing with the services that these lawyers wanted to offer them, because of the promises that the government made to them.
All right.
Because what the Kaduna State government did at that time was to call their leaders to the government house and convince them, so they could not take up that issue. But if they want to do that, it is not late, because fundamental infractions under the Constitution can be taken up any time.
All right, all right. Thank you so much, Barrister, for being part of this discussion.
Thank you so much.
All right. All right, now the family of a 3-year-old girl named withheld in Basa local government area of Plateau State is expressing deep concern that their daughter may have contracted an infectious disease following her alleged defilement. Although initial medical tests came back negative, the family fears that some infections, including HIV, may not be immediately detectable after exposure. Musa has more.
On October 3rd this year, the Plateau State Police Command arrested one Job Josiah, a resident of Mr. Ali, for allegedly luring the child into his provision shop near her parents' home and violating her. The incident sparked outrage in the community, prompting security intervention to prevent unrest. The victim's mother told Trust TV that about a month after hospital treatment, she noticed abnormal discharge from her daughter, raising further medical concerns.
When we returned home days after the incident, I noticed fluid coming out of her private part. I tried placing her in a warm water daily, hoping it will help the scar to heal. At some point, I stopped because I thought she was getting better, but later, I checked again. The area was still not normal. I informed my neighbor, who was also alarmed. I was advised to get antibiotics, but we don't even have money for food, let alone drugs, because my husband has been sick.
She added that the family remains anxious until follow-up screening confirms her daughter's health status.
We are worried because although the first test shows no infection, the next test will be in a few months. Diseases like HIV may not show immediately, so we are scared. We are just hoping the final result will show she is fine.
Contacted for an update, the spokesperson of the Plateau State Police Command, DSP Alabo Alfred, confirmed that the suspect has been remanded while investigations continue.
Concerning the case of defilement of a 3-year-old minor, the command has gotten that report, and we have also gone into investigation as directed by the Commissioner of Police, CP Emmanuel Gwemga Addition of PLC. And our officers at the gender section have been doing the needful. So far, investigation have been conducted. Like I said, the case file have been handed over to the legal section for onward prosecution in the High Court here in Jos. The suspects have since been remanded in prison custody, and we are waiting our date in court so that everybody will have their fair.
Meanwhile, the family is calling for justice and support as they continue to seek treatment for their daughter. They are hopeful that in the coming months, doctors will confirm that she remains free of any infection. Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
The ongoing invasion of roaming elephant in Ngala and Kalebalgi local government areas of Borno State has become increasingly alarming, with farmland destroyed and residents living in fears. The elephants, believed to have migrated from the Waza National Park in Cameroon, have for years caused extensive damage in the region, threatening food security and the livelihoods of local farmers. Lawmakers have raised concerns over the deteriorating situation. The House of Representatives has adopted a motion calling for urgent action to curb the elephant attacks. Similarly, the federal government has been urged to work closely with the Borno State government to provide logistical support and implement measures to address the threats. Stakeholders stress that swift intervention is crucial not only to protect human lives and property, but also to ensure the safety and proper management of the elephants.
وبرا التنين ترى لك الوايد الوراني خلاص وبالقدامي خلاص ايوه كلنا ثلاثه abin sai zama abin kallo ga kowa ga sanan biyoyi kuma mai guda kuma makabir bilin tara Abdullahi.
This is the news hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. Nigerians express mixed views on cowhide meat consumption amid health risks and economic concerns. More news when we return. Do stay with us. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is the news hour on Trust TV. Let's take a look at our top stories again. President Tinubu swears in new Defense Minister General Christopher Musa. And victims of Tudimburi tragedy still await compensation 2 years after the incident. Now moving on to more stories, cowhide meat known as ponmo is a staple for millions of Nigerians. But health experts say the way it's processed exposes consumers to serious risks. There are growing concerns over hygiene violations in abattoirs, meat markets, and the local processing sites where much of this ponmo is produced. Beyond the health issues, the federal government warns that rising ponmo consumption threatens Nigeria's $5 billion leather industry. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail reports.
Black smoke rises over Garki Market in Abuja. This is where much of the ponmo sold in the city is processed. Medical professionals say the way ponmo is handled and the volume consumed have links to several health problems. Stakeholders in abattoirs and meat markets also point to a routine breaches in hygiene and handling protocols.
Regulatory authorities come here to enforce hygiene protocols. There is cowhide meat being supplied from an unknown location. It is sold here. It looks like poison. A lot of our customers complain about the unhygienic cowhide. A lady told me that they could not consume it after they bought it because it stinks. Authorities need to stop the supply of these cowhides.
Butchers say they are often blamed for poor hygiene, but insist the real problem is the lack of functional facilities and proper infrastructure. At Garki Market, some consumers now inspect the stalls closely, calling for cleaner spaces and safer meat handling practices.
It's 80% the cleaning aspects. They are trying, but they need to put more effort. It's not as clean as it should be, though it's a market. Yeah, but they still need to put more effort so that it will be more cleaner. And then the prices.
As the federal government continues to discourage ponmo consumption to protect the leather industry, butchers say sales of fresh meat have dropped. Many buyers now choose ponmo because it is cheaper.
So whether it is well processed or not, I don't know. But all I know is that Nigerians, because of the hard economy, they go for whatever they see. Do you get my point?
It's just to get the skin on and roast it, then bring it to the market. They will boil it and sell it. So this one is just normal roasting. It's not, the people cannot consume it this way. It's just they roast the skin out of it. So it still goes through more process before it can be eaten.
Behind the economic concerns are the health risks. Experts warn that excessive consumption of ponmo and other poorly handled meat products can expose consumers to infections and long-term illnesses.
Are there disease conditions associated with it? I would say yes, in a way, because when you put things over open flame, you burn things over open flame, one of the things that you're introducing into that food is a carcinogenic substances, which is more like cancerous substances. So that's one of the issues you have in it. Well, when I now say hypertension, a lot of people consume it, and you know, the whole cooking and everything, sodium content and everything, and as well as even things like kilishi, the content in it, the sodium content is now the problem. And when I also say kidney and liver conditions can also come up, it also means that the process itself is the problem. So these are the kind of conditions that might be associated with eating more.
Nigeria needs more modern standard abattoirs to meet demand for safe meat and to meet public health and environmental requirements. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, China has said Sinma is emerging as a powerful platform for strengthening bilateral ties, describing film and artistic collaboration as a growing bridge of diplomacy with Nigeria. The China Cultural Center Councillor Yang Jiangxing disclosed this while speaking at the Chinese Embassy's masterclass and special screening of the acclaimed documentary Routine at the Zuma International Film Festival in Abuja. Jiangxing said the cinematic feast is also a dialogue between civilization and a testament to friendship. Also speaking, Managing Director of the Nigerian Film Corporation, Ali Nuhu, said the partnership between Nigeria and China is the creative sector is already active and growing.
And Nigeria are world-renowned film-producing countries. Nigeria's film industry is vibrant, with Nollywood ranking second in the world, with an annual output of 2,500 films, enjoying a unique charm that is renowned in Africa and influences the world. The Zuma International Film Festival, as a highly influential film platform in Nigeria and even Africa, not only provides a stage for local filmmakers to embrace cinematic art, but also serves as an important window for exchange and mutual learning between different civilizations.
We had a conversation with the culture minister, and out of our conversation, this partnership today is what stemmed out of it. We talked about cultural exchange, we talked about exchange of students, staff between Nigeria and China, just so to strengthen that relationship. One, secondly, for us to build capacity for the film, arts and culture sector. So this is what gave birth to this partnership. We're grateful that the Chinese Embassy has decided to, come on the platform of Zuma International Film Festival to do this screening. And we hope that in the future we'll do more of this.
Some residents of Lagos State have welcomed a proposed constitutional amendment before the National Assembly seeking to create special seats for women in political offices across Nigeria. Speaking to Trust TV, they described the bill as a major step towards gender-inclusive governance, saying women should also be given the opportunity to occupy the positions such as state governors and even the presidency. Victoria Tokolo has more.
Women's representation in Nigeria's political leadership remains among the lowest in Africa. In response, a special seats bill currently before the National and State Assemblies seek to reshape the country's political landscape by ensuring more women get access to elective positions. The bill aims to increase women's participation by creating additional slots reserved for female candidates while still allowing them to contest in the general elections alongside their male counterparts. Although efforts to speak with female politicians in Lagos yielded no results, several residents told Trust Television that the initiative is a welcome development. They insist that Nigerian women deserve a fair chance to aspire to the highest political offices, including governorship and the presidency.
I think that is a good development. That's a good development. It is a good, and I think that is what is going to have been. Because I know by women coming in, it will be a helping hand, because looking at women, they are also contributing to the society. There's nothing wrong doing that. It's part of this part of life, which is what we want them to do and which they want them to do. You understand? That's what I believe in. Look at African culture, right from time immemorial. women has always been at the back end where they, they feel they don't have what it takes, for them to be at the forefront of, to be at the forefront of things that is going on economic-wise and otherwise. But for that bill to be passed, I think it will help women, to actually showcase what they inhibit, what they have, and like I said, it also is equality, and it makes us to also know that we have women, that can take the front line and also lead, the economy or the country.
It's a good opinion. It gives women, it elaborates them to speak out their mind and to have that boldness to say what is going on.
I don't know what has taken them, why it has taken them so long to do this, but I think it's a very good development. It's a step in the right direction. Sometimes men think that they have monopoly of knowledge, monopoly of everything. But today you see that women even excel in different places, in different aspects of life. So there is no monopoly of knowledge. It's just like a marginalization of the women folk. But if as giving them chance, sometimes they have more knowledge on what should be done to correct this of the society.
The reason I ask over there is that the Western world and other parts of the world, people participated in it. For example, people places even a country like Brazil, women lead them as a president. In Margaret Thatcher in England, also a president. Nigeria still depends on their own and ethnic things that's maybe tribalistic, because they know that they will not do it, and they can never do it, and they can never work well in Nigeria. Because if they should give a woman a chance, certain things will be exposed, and people must know that talented woman Dora Akuyi is not from Nigeria, didn't qualify to be one of past and parcel of the things they are doing in the world. One like Okonji Iweala, I don't know if female are qualified to do something in the world, but because of tribalistic things we have in Nigeria, from Nigeria, they do not allow women. But me, I suggest let them give Nigerian women a chance.
Many Nigerians believe that with more women in positions of power, the country could witness stronger accountability, improved economic conditions, and enhanced security outcomes. As the constitutional amendments process continues, the fate of the special seats bill remains uncertain, but expectations remain high for a more inclusive political future.
A police officer has been confirmed dead and another injured after a fatal accident along the Sani Abacha Expressway near the National Ecumenical Center in Abuja. The Federal Capital Territory FCT Police Command said the incident occurred at about 2:30 p.m. Wednesday. Preliminary investigations revealed that a mixer truck driven by one Salman Usman at a Wuse Zone 5-based construction company lost control and crashed at the location. The truck reportedly veered off its lane and hit the two officers who were on official duty at the time. One of the officers died on the spot from the impact, while the other second officer sustained multiple injuries and is currently receiving medical treatment. You are still watching News Hour on Trust TV. The news continues after the break.
Welcome to Trust TV, your gateway to the captivating essence of Nigerian history, culture, and society.
And this is where the hydroelectric power dam is supposed to be constructed.
Delve into the depths of Nigeria's past with our insightful documentaries unraveling the intricacies of ancient civilizations and colonial influences that have shaped the nation's identity. Immerse yourself in the vibrant Nigerian traditions and customs as we showcase the diverse cultural landscape.
The early history of human existence can be traced to the heart of northern Nigeria. Here, archaeologists found evidence of a group of people who sculpted clay and developed tools to smelt iron.
From lively festivals to time-honored rituals, Trust TV encapsulates the spirit of Nigeria's dynamic heritage. Experience an authentic portrayal of contemporary Nigerian culture that is both engaging and enriching.
With over 250 ethnicities, over 500 languages, and a youthful population, Nigeria has a truly diverse demographic advantage.
Don't miss out on Trust TV's amazing and impactful storytelling. Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. And now moving to business stories, United Capital PLC analysts have forecast that Nigeria's headline inflation rate will experience a further decline to 15.48% in November 2025. This projection represents a decrease from 16.05% rate recorded in October 2025. The analysts said the anticipated moderation is largely driven by a slight reduction in the prices of selected food items and premium motor spirit PMS. In an inflation watch released on Wednesday, they said the easing of inflationary pressures was evident in the energy sector during November 2025. The average price of Bonny Light crude oil saw a marginal decline of 1.41%, dropping to $65.22 per barrel from $66.15 per barrel in October 2025. In the food sector, price movements were mixed in November 2025 when compared to October 2025. UCR's survey of selected food items revealed price declines for certain commodities as the prices of local rice, maize, and gari fell by 27.6%, 21.72% and 0.38% respectively. However, the price of imported rice did rise by 2.4%. Meanwhile, the prices of sorghum, beans and yam remained broadly stable with the same range. Now, away from Nigeria, Libyan authorities have announced a major escalation in deporting irregular migrants, primarily sub-Saharan Africa, back to their home countries. The move comes amid increased efforts by European nations to curb migrant arrivals, with Libya remaining a key departure point for thousands attempting dangerous sea crossing to Europe, particularly to nearby Italy, just 300 kilometers away. At a press conference in Tripoli, Interior Minister Imad Trabelsi highlighted that Libya has received limited international support in managing migration, despite substantial domestic efforts. He noted that as many as 3 million irregular migrants have passed through Libya over the last 15 years, often with their families, raising concern about long-term settlement. Trabelsi emphasized that Libya will not serve as a holding ground for migrants intercepted at sea. As part of the repatriation program, the government aims to return thousands of migrants, including women, children, and the elderly, with 2 flights per week scheduled this month. Meanwhile, Libya continues to host hundreds of thousands of Sudanese refugees fleeing conflict, granting them access to health care and education as ordered by the government. And now for sports update, let's join Kabir Lawal.
FIFA has announced that the mandatory release of players for the CAF African Cup of Nations AFCON Morocco 2025 will officially begin on 15th December 2025 following a series of fruitful consultations with key stakeholders and cooperative stance from the Confederation of African Football CAF. The decision taken by Bureau of FIFA Council reduces the release period by 7 days, a movement consistent with the arrangement made for the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. The 2025 AFCON will run from 21st December 2025 to 18th January 2026, making it the first edition of the tournament staged during the Christmas and New Year period. FIFA said the arrangement was made possible due to the spirit of solidarity demonstrated by CAF to ensure a balanced solution for national teams, clubs, and competition organizers during a congested global football calendar. As part of the arrangement, FIFA also encouraged member associations taking part in AFCON and clubs whose players may still be engaged in continental competitions during the release window to enter bilateral discussions. Still on sport news, Nasarawa Amazons Football Club delivered a tactical, disciplined and spirited performance, earning a crucial away point against Danas Ladies Football Club in an elite National Women Football League Premiership encounter at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena. The coach, Christopher Njuma, said the game was played with determination, looking to build on their opening day 2-1 victory over Delta Football Club in Lafia. They displayed grit, composure, and a renewed sense of purpose pushing hard for an early breakthrough. The defensive unit featuring Adesoji Esther, Imo Onoha Confidence, and Alani Jumoke stood resolute, cutting out dangerous runs and winning vital goals. That ends Sport News. I am Kabir Lawal.
And with that, we've come to the end of News Hour tonight. You can also watch us on YouTube for more news programs and documentaries. I am Idris Dayabature. Thank you for being with us. Good night.